Long ago, in a serene village set amidst rolling green hills and blooming wildflowers, lived a young man named Hiro. Despite the village's tranquility, Hiro's mind was never at ease. Known for his ceaseless curiosity and analytical mind, he was constantly caught in a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. By day, he fretted over what had happened in the past and what might occur in the future. By night, he lay awake, restless and questioning, unable to quiet the constant murmur of his mind. As Hiro grew older, he realized how much his restless mind affected him. Even during simple moments, watching the sunrise over the fields or the gentle sway of trees in the breeze, he couldn't find peace. There must be a way to calm this storm within, he would think to himself, day after day. One afternoon, while talking to an elderly villager, Hiro heard a story about a Zen master living atop a distant mountain. They say he possesses the wisdom of the ages, the old man said with a faraway look. It's rumored that he knows the secret to true peace and freedom of mind. Intrigued and filled with hope, Hiro resolved to visit this master. Perhaps, he thought, this wise man could teach him how to still his churning mind. The very next morning, Hiro set out on his journey. He packed only a small bag with some food, water, and a thin blanket, prepared for the arduous trek ahead. The path to the mountain was long and winding, and he traveled for days, crossing rivers, climbing rocky hillsides, and braving the dense forests that surrounded the mountain. Through scorching sunlight and chilly nights, he kept his resolve, envisioning the wisdom that awaited him at the summit. Finally, after many days of travel, Hiro arrived at the mountain's peak. There, surrounded by wisps of mist and ancient pine trees, he found the Zen master, seated serenely on a smooth rock, his eyes closed in deep meditation. Hiro approached quietly, almost hesitant to disturb the peaceful aura that enveloped the master. With a respectful bow, Hiro waited for the master to acknowledge him. After a moment, the master opened his eyes, his gaze calm and warm. "Master," Hiro began, feeling a mixture of hope and nervousness, "I have traveled far in search of peace. My mind is constantly filled with thoughts, worries, and questions. I cannot seem to quiet them, no matter how I try. Can you teach me the way to inner calm?" The master regarded Hiro with a gentle smile. "You seek to empty your mind, do you not?" Hiro nodded eagerly, hope blossoming in his chest. "Very well," the master said, rising slowly and gesturing for Hiro to follow. They walked to a small, open courtyard near the edge of the mountain. In the center of the courtyard stood a large stone basin filled with water, so still and clear that it reflected the blue sky above. Beside the basin was a smaller, empty bowl. The master picked up a ladle and dipped it into the basin, filling it with water, and then poured the water into the smaller bowl. Turning to Hiro, he said, "Your task is to empty this basin by transferring all the water into the smaller bowl. But there's one condition, you must not spill even a single drop." Hiro looked at the task before him, puzzled but determined. The smaller bowl was clearly too small to hold all the water from the basin. Yet, trusting in the master's wisdom, he nodded and began his task, carefully scooping water from the basin and pouring it into the smaller bowl. Time passed slowly. Hiro worked steadily, focused on each scoop, but despite his efforts, the basin always seemed as full as when he had started. Frustration began to bubble within him. How could I ever empty the basin this way, he wondered. His arms grew tired, his mind more restless, and yet he kept going, refusing to give up. Eventually, hours later, he paused, exhaustion weighing on him. He could feel his mind racing with self-doubt and frustration. Sensing Hiro's growing frustration, the Zen master approached him once more. "You are trying so hard to empty the basin," the master said gently, "but you have overlooked the first and most essential step." Hiro looked up, his confusion apparent. "What step, master?" The master smiled kindly. "Before you can empty the basin, you must first empty your mind." The simplicity of the word struck Hiro, but he found himself struggling to understand. How do I empty my mind, master?" The Zen master's eyes softened, and he gestured to the calm water in the basin. "Look at the water," he said. "When it is still, it reflects the sky, undisturbed. But if you stir it, the reflection is lost, replaced by ripples and distortion. Your mind is like this basin. When you are calm, clarity naturally follows. But when you're restless, trying to control or understand everything at once, peace slips away." Hiro took a deep breath, contemplating the master's words. He felt his frustration ebbing as he let go of his need to complete the task quickly or perfectly. Slowly, he returned to the task, this time not focused on emptying the basin but simply on each gentle scoop, appreciating the sound and feel of the water as it moved from one bowl to the other. As he let go of his frustration, something remarkable happened. His mind began to calm. With each scoop, he felt himself relaxing, his thoughts quieting as he became fully absorbed in the simple action. For the first time in as long as he could remember, Hiro's mind was still. Hours later, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Hiro found that he had, indeed, emptied the basin. He stared at the empty basin in amazement, then looked to the master, who nodded approvingly. "You see, Hiro," the master said softly, "when you empty your mind and let go of expectations, you align yourself with the flow of life. Peace is not something you achieve by force, it is something you discover within when you let go." In that moment, Hiro realized that the journey he'd undertaken was not simply a physical one up the mountain but a journey within himself. The peace he had sought was not in the world around him but in his own approach to it. From that day forward, he understood that inner peace was not something to chase or control, it was something to allow and accept. Returning to the village, Hiro lived differently. He approached his tasks with mindfulness, savoring each moment without worrying about the next. In time, the villagers noticed a profound change in him. He was still the thoughtful, curious Hiro they had always known, but now he carried a calm within him that touched everyone he met. And when others in the village struggled with their own worries and sought advice, Hiro would smile gently and share with them the simple, timeless wisdom of the Zen master, that to find peace, one must first empty the mind and allow life's natural flow to take its course. And in this way, Hiro shared the gift of inner peace with everyone around him, becoming a source of quiet inspiration for all.